Here is the second part of our story. Joy was revived back from her state of unconsciousness, but then her past immediately flashed back like a movie scene. Joy remembered everything. Joy had known loss far too early in life, even before she could understand what loss means. Joy lost both parents while she was still a very young child. Her only surviving relative, her grandmother, an aging but fearlessly strong woman, took her, nurtured and catered for her. Joy saw her grandmother as her whole world. She is the only family Joy ever knew. They survived together through a small food business her grandmother does by the roadside. That business wasn't so big, but it fed them, clothed them, and taught Joy dignity in hard work. That little food stand was where faith quietly began to do its job. 10 years ago, before Ikenna understood how much wealth he was born into, and before grief silenced Joy's laughter, they met. Ikenna's mother, Obinna's beloved wife. Every week, she ordered food from Joy's grandmother, not just to eat, but to share with the less privileged. She believed God had blessed her, and the little she could do was to share food to the very less privileged who could hardly find food to eat. Anytime she comes to share the food, she would always come with her son, Ikenna. That was how Joy and Ikenna noticed each other. What began as shy glances grew into conversations. Conversations became stolen smiles, and soon affection bloomed. Pure, tense, and unguarded, they were young, they were hopeful, and when passion came, it consumed them without warning. They had no promises nor expectations. They had nothing planned, but love happened anyway. One day, tragedy happened. Joy's grandmother fell ill suddenly. Within days, she was gone. Yes, the cold hands of death took her. Her death shattered Joy completely. She was alone again, an orphan once more. The town that once felt like home now suffocated her with memories of her late grandmother. Ikenna tried to reach her, but grief built walls around her heart. In her sorrow and confusion, she left without saying goodbye, carrying pains she could barely survive. She moved to another city and took up menial jobs, cleaning, selling food, doing anything to stay alive. Life became survival. While Joy was trying so hard to figure out her life, another truth revealed itself. She was pregnant. Fear, anger, grief nearly swallowed her. So many thoughts ran through her mind, including the thought of getting an abortion. Her grandmother's moral standing is against abortion, so that option was off the table. She decided to go back to her village where she actually moved out from to search for Ikenna, just to let him know she is having his child. But to her greatest surprise, within that short period of time, Ikenna and all his family members were gone from the village. Life had moved fast. Ikenna was nowhere to be found. Not his mom, not his dad. Everyone was unreachable. She went through the pain of pregnancy and childbirth alone. But in the midst of all that, she chose to welcome God's blessing, which is her child, into her life. Her little boy, Paul, became her reason to live. As these memories keep weaving in, like the waves of the sea, into Joy's mind. She remembered everything. How Ikenna's mom was so kind to everyone around her. How they both cooked together with her grandmother. The love she once shared with Ikenna. She finally understood why he had felt familiar when they met again by the roadside. Joy broke down in tears. She sobbed uncontrollably until Ikenna had to find out why all the tears. Ikenna was curious to know what is going on, and Joy began to narrate her story. 10 years ago, my grandmother took me. I never knew she was my grandmother. I saw her as my mother until when she told me the story when I turned 18. She told me how I lost my parents at the age of 1 and she took me in since then. Ikenna was still curious. How is all this story related to what is going on? Joy continued. My grandmother sells food at the village square. Before long, my grandmother's kitchen became a charity kitchen because your mother, Mrs. Obinna, turned that kitchen into a charity kitchen. She always pay for food to be distributed to the less privileged. As soon as Joy mentioned this part, the picture became so very clear to Obinna, Ikenna's father, and Ikenna also. Ikenna was frozen. My mother, he whispered, voice breaking. She bought food from you? You are Joy? Joy nodded in tears. I tried to find you, she said softly, but I had lost everything. My grandmother, who is the only one I have in this whole world, had died out of illness. Ikenna took Joy into his arms, held her so tight, and consoled her of all she had gone through. At this point, Obinna stood up, his voice steady but full of emotion. This family nearly lost its legacy because of the pain that came with losing my dear wife and the mother of my only son. But God preserved it through a woman who never planned to lie, only to survive. Uncle Martin slumped into his chair. Auntie Juliet's scheme collapsed in shame. That night didn't just restore an inheritance, it restored a family. In the moment that followed, Ikenna didn't return Joy and Paul to the roadside. He chose them, not out of obligation, but out of love, reborn and rekindled, and responsibility accepted. Joy's pain softened. Paul found a father. Obinna found peace. Ikenna found love, companion, and the joy that eluded him since he lost his mother. One final truth about the story is, what is truly yours may live for a season, but it will always return. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe for more interesting stories.